Hey guys, Evan Minto here with Crunchyroll at A-Kon 27 in Dallas, Texas, and I'm talking to Cole Gallian, who is an editor at Rooster Teeth, who worked on RWBY and Red vs. Blue. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
So you got your start at Rooster Teeth by being an RTX Guardian. Yeah?
They had like a random emailing sent out to everybody who was on the site, like a member, and it said, hey, we're looking for 200 people to come and like manage a line. And so that first year I was a Guardian. The next year I moved up to team lead. The next year I was an intern for the company. And then last year I was full-time, and it was quite the growth.
Yeah.
So
you started as a fan of Rooster Teeth stuff. What stuff did you particularly like?
Red vs. Blue.
Yeah.
It was 9th grade, high school. Me and my buddy, we bought a DVD at GameStop of season 3, and I hadn't seen any before. I'm like, I like Halo.
Right.
I want to watch this. And so we went on a band trip, and on the bus, I brought my portable DVD player, and like we had the entire back of the bus all just huddled around the DVD player laughing. And then the podcast kind of really drew me into the personalities as well.
Awesome. So what does an average day in the life of a Rooster Teeth editor look like?
So there's a couple things that we tend to do. One is updating play blasts. So as the animators work, they will send out like almost like twice a day an update of their shot. So like there's 69 frames, there's 70 frames, they're like or 120 frame shots.
So is that video clip is there, but they're like increasing the precision of like the number of frames?
Yeah. So so we'll take whatever they're doing to update it, whether they saw that, oh hey, this walking animation looks janky.
Right.
I don't want them to be so like
Choppy.
Right. We need a few more here, and so we'll update the overall timeline of that project. We are kind of the front end of the whole process. So we have our audio team. They'll bring in voice actors. We'll sit in with the director and the script supervisor, and they'll just go record like 6 episodes at one time. And once we have all of that, we have a storyboard artist who sits down with the director, and they essentially sit down in a room for sometimes like 5 hours, just so he can get an idea of what the director wants for each shot, each scene. Once we get both of those, we then sit down and combine the audio and the storyboards. So we kind of sit there and watch.
Like an animatic?
Yeah, exactly, make animatic, and try to time it out to the best that we can without seeing information. So we'll put temp sound effects, temp soundtracks in to kind of help us feel the edge of like what exactly is happening in the scene, which it's a lot of fun because you get to work on shows like Red vs. Blue, where it's very fast-paced humor. There's a joke, there's a beat, there's like a reaction. Whereas
very much about like the timing. Right?
Exactly, and the like same thing with RWBY, except there's drama, so you have to hang on a point and like look at a reaction of a character, and like sometimes the silence and the stillness can make it more impactful.
So what was it like working with Monty on RWBY?
He always had these ideas. He'd come up to the very end, hey, I got this, let's put it in real quick.
Yeah.
We're like, but the episode comes out today. We have to export. He's like, but it's really great. It'll sell the show, and it always did.
It was just a good idea, yeah.
Just that it gave it the humor and the flavor that we always wanted. So.
Have you ever had to cut anything out that you wanted to keep in?
There's a fight scene from the last season of RWBY that I personally had done the animatics for, and I'm actually not sure what to say, so if I get in trouble, oh well. It was Neptune, who is one of the side characters from the side team. His whole thing is he's trying to be the cool guy. He wants to get all the ladies, and it's him and his teammate Sun fighting against 2 other team members that we know from Team Juniper. And there was a moment where Sun is in trouble, and Neptune is like, looks like I have to pull out my secret weapon. And so he hits his badge on his chest, and out pops this like Viking warrior, like Atlantis battle armor, and at the last second, little floaty wings pop on his arms because he's afraid of water. And so it was just like, and as part of the animatic process, I put like Sailor Moon sound effects to it, and so I was just like so excited for it to get passed through, but we ended up having to cut it due to time.
What sort of opportunities do you have to inject your own creativity into the process when working as an editor? You sort of spoke to it before.
So again, part of like the making animatics process is we sit down and we listen through all of the selects. So when the voice actor comes in and records, there's several like normally like a 3 take. If it requires more, then we'll get more. We'll get alts. That's one of the ways that we get to be creatively involved is what do we think is the best way for a person to respond to another person? Or is this in character for this person? The way that they delivered it here isn't how their character responds, or maybe it sounds like that voice from another show.
Right.
And so we were like, well,
choosing between the options provided to you.
Exactly. And as we've been growing, we've also becoming a little more aware of camera movement and how we can use the editing to create more of an impact, like a slow zoom in to, like, if the opening shot is still, it gets pretty dull and boring, and you're like, okay, all you gotta do is add a tiny little push in, and all of a sudden it's interesting.
Do you do a lot of back and forth with the director on that, like those types of decisions?
We'll have probably like once a week a sit down with the director, and we'll do a review where we just sit there and watch, and then he'll go, add a couple frames here. The majority of the fight scenes that we do are not storyboarded. So they have points, it's like, okay, at some point this needs to happen to this character, at some point this needs to happen to this character, but we kind of turn our animators loose on it. It's like, hey, these are the points you gotta hit those points, make it look good, and you can do what you want. Like, you can have crazy things happen, and it's always really cool to like walk into the animation, like they're in the biggest room in the office. Yeah. And you'll just see people huddled around watching like the progress throughout the day. Once a fight scene starts coming together, you're like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that. Like, oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna steal some of that animation for a fight later, or which character do something else, like kind of like that. That
seems super cool. I don't think that's very common in a lot of animation.
Yeah.
Like, usually the storyboards are really laying out how the fight scene plays out.
Yeah, definitely. And especially I've started trying to watch a lot of storyboards for anime, like on DVD and stuff. Most of those are always storyboarded as well. It's like, okay, well, he's going to slash here, he's going to block. With that, it's cool because it's like there is no constraint, which is kind of freeing, and the animators love it because like they get to make the fight that they wanted to make. It's fun because there's certain characters that animators are always like, I want that one. Yeah. She's fast. She's fast. Oh, she like packs a punch. He's funny because he always falls down or does something stupid. So
that's really cool. That's the personality of the animators come through. Yeah. Do you have a favorite character from RWBY?
Weiss. She's the most fun. Everybody loves her. She has the best facial expressions. She has the biggest like range of emotions, I guess what I'm trying to say. She is angry and annoyed at her partners because it's like, okay, you guys just get it together. Like, but then also because of her like upbringing, she was very sheltered, and so she sometimes doesn't pick up on social cues that she should. It just leads to like really funny situations. So I love Weiss is probably my favorite.
What about favorite scene?
Favorite scene. My favorite scene is actually probably season 2. It's kind of the first time that they're going out into the world to work as huntresses. RWBY has her backpack, and her teacher's like, hey, I thought I told you to take a rest. She's like, well, you didn't. And he's like, oh, I thought I did. And all of a sudden, like, her little corgi's head pops up from the back of the backpack and starts barking, and everybody just kind of looks over like, no, you didn't. And then, like, I think this was actually improv on our voice actress' part. She turns around to the dog, goes, get back in the bag. And I just lost it. Like, it was really funny.
What do you think is the best part about working at a place where you are a fan? You were a fan before you started.
It doesn't feel like work. It feels like, I mean, I've told everybody, they're like, oh, how do you like working at Rooster Teeth? I'm like, I'm working. Like, it's like a dream come true. You get to go in, you get to be with people who just want to make great things. Everybody's there. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you stay later, you got to work harder. And so it's just so many people dedicated to one thing that it might just look like one character, but there's 60 people working on that one character to make that character come to life.
Awesome. So do you have any cool stuff you're working on that you want to promote?
Actually, this coming Friday, we are premiering our new summer show, Camp Camp, which is a South Park-esque take about a bunch of kids who are at a camp in which the camp creator wanted to make a camp for every kind of camp. So you have space camp, you have science camp, you have
band camp,
you have general camp, like adventure camp, and it's just the camp is also only run. There's only 2 camp counselors, so it's a little troublesome trying to run all this stuff. And the kids are also very aware that the only reason they're at camp is because their parents don't want to have anything to do with them. So it's a lot of that kind of cynical humor of, well, we know our situation. You don't think we do because we're kids.
Right.
But come on, we know. So a whole bunch of funny situations happen. So
Very cool. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
RWBY is available on Crunchyroll and roosterteeth.com, and you can also buy Season 3 now on DVD and Blu-ray. Stay tuned here for more convention coverage from Crunchyroll.